This one ingredient is a super simple way to take all of your recipes to the next level, from cocktails, mocktails, and yeah, even food recipes too.
Hey there. Today we are going to be making a rosemary simple syrup, which is one of my favorite herbal syrups to make. You only need 3 ingredients for this, including some fresh rosemary, some granulated sugar, and filtered water. This rosemary syrup also happens to be the base recipe to a super special cocktail that I used to love at Oga's Cantina in Hollywood Studios that they've since taken off the menu. So I've taken things into my own hands and decided to recreate it here at home. Let's get started. This is just a super simple syrup of a 1-to-1 ratio by volume. Okay, so I know it's a little weird. We're weighing ingredients, but we're doing the ratio by volume. That's because we are going to be heating this syrup. Some of that water is going to evaporate and we will be left with closer to a 1-to-1 ratio. So 237 grams is approximately how much a cup of water weighs by volume. And we're going to heat this over medium-low heat. This is fresh rosemary. I do prefer, if possible, to use the less woody parts of the stem. I'll show you a little overhead view of what I'm talking about. The green parts here aren't gonna impart as much of a woody taste to your syrup. All right, my water is coming up to temperature, so I wanna go ahead and add my sugar now. A fun little trick that I like to use is putting a heat-safe trivet on top of the scale and then tare it, which means you are going to just zero out your scale, and now you have a heat-proof way of measuring ingredients in a saucepan. Then we're going to add 200 grams of sugar to the pot. We've got our sugar added and we're gonna return it to the burner and then go ahead and give everything a stir. It's dissolving pretty fast there because the water is very warm. So it looks like our sugar has fully melted, and now we are going to go ahead and add in 10 grams of fresh rosemary. Measuring by grams means that you're going to get the perfect flavor in your syrup every time. It's a lot of rosemary, but that's what gives it the flavor that is so good. Now we're just gonna infuse it at a super low heat. I'm gonna go ahead and set a timer for 10 minutes at this low heat, and then after that timer is up, I'm gonna set another one for about 15 minutes to let it gently infuse off of direct heat. Keep an eye on it to make sure that it's not boiling. A light simmer is fine. I can see in the pot here that there are some bubbles forming at the bottom of the pan. I see a lot of people making the mistake of boiling their simple syrups. You do not want to do that because that's kind of where we get into candy making territory. Not only that, rosemary can turn bitter if heated too high for too long. You really want to keep the heat low and slow here. Let's talk about some ways that you can use this syrup. The number one way is going to be in your beverages, and rosemary syrup goes really nicely with citrus flavors. I've made a rosemary lemonade before. People go crazy for that. It's really great in iced tea as well, like mint tea, green tea. You can use this in cocktails and other mocktails. Partners really well with whiskey. And last but not least, margaritas, which is kind of a variation of the drink that we will be making called the Dagobah Slug Slinger that I had in Hollywood Studios. Oh, some other fun ways to use this syrup. Food recipes. This is one of my favorite syrups to use in salad dressing recipes. And like a herbal vinaigrette, it is so good and it adds like another layer of flavor. A really unexpected way to use syrups is in appetizers. Adding just a touch of sweetness to tomato sauce. Put that on some mini pizzas. That adds a herbal layer of flavor and like a kiss of sweetness to help balance out the acidity in tomato sauce. I've also used this syrup in oven roasted nuts. Heat them up in the oven and then toss them in the syrup, and they are just like so aromatic. We just hit 10 minutes on the infusion time. The rosemary is starting to become more muted in color. It's losing that vibrancy that it had. At any point, you can take a bit of syrup out of the pot and just let it cool for a minute or two so that you don't burn your tongue. Ask me how I know, and give it a taste and see if you like how the flavor is developing. Oh my God, that is so good. Once our syrup is done infusing, it's time to remove the rosemary. And that is another reason why I love to leave the rosemary on the stems, because it's so much easier to retrieve them from the saucepan and remove them. If you did use the leaves themselves not attached to the sprig, then you will need to strain it, and a fine mesh strainer is gonna be the tool for the job. And make sure to use a heat-proof measuring cup. We have just over a cup of syrup, and there are a few particles in there. I'm okay with that, but if you do want to completely strain out everything, then you can use some cheesecloth. Let's see if I have some here. Yeah, you can use some cheesecloth. Line your mesh strainer with some cheesecloth, and then you can catch absolutely all of those little particles. I don't really care so much about that, so I'm fine with it. Oh my god, you guys, this smells so good. Woody, earthy, bright. I can't wait to make a drink with this. When it comes to storage, you have some options. If you've seen any of the recipes on my website, then you know I love to take photos of syrups in these beautiful glass bottles. But I'm gonna tell you a secret. For everyday use, I actually steer clear of these pretty bottles like this because the syrup gets sticky, the tops never dispense right, and then everything gets all gummy and gunky in there. I would say don't even waste your time, don't waste your money. Swing bottles are favorites of mine for gifting. It's a fun little hostess gift if you're going to a friend's house, the holidays are coming up, it's a perfect hostess gift. People are always really excited to get these, like the bottle is half the gift. These squeeze bottles are my absolute favorite thing to store syrups in. You can easily see measurements on here so you know approximately how much you're squeezing into each drink. They're dishwasher safe, and you can put them from the fridge to the freezer. Your finished syrup is good in the fridge for up to 2 weeks, and then of course you can freeze it for longer term storage. Label your syrup with a name and date, otherwise it will die in the back of your fridge and you will find it 3 weeks later wondering what the hell it is. This would also be really good in like a liqueur, like your own herbal liqueur. Chartreuse who? Maybe we should do that next. Thank you so much for joining me today and learning how to make a rosemary syrup. I hope I've inspired you to try some unexpected ingredients in your next drink recipes. Make sure to like and subscribe to catch all the content that we've got cooking here at A Recipe for Fun. Cheers. I somehow am sticky though, so it happens every time, I'm not sure.